It is a day that we have waited for many, many years. The Pac-12 has arrived in Logan, Utah officially as the Aggies take the field at home as a Pac-12 program for the first time in school history. Stockton Jukes here with you, joined by Kaysen Miller to my right. Kaysen, what a pleasure it is to be here for the first Pac-12 event of Utah State's Pac-12 run.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see this Pac-12 debut here under the lights at the Bell.
We're going to go ahead and take a break. Looks like they're ready for the anthem. When we come back, it's time for kickoff between the Aggies and Wolverines. We are going to keep it here, as a matter of fact. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're expecting to see out of this one as the anthem plays. Kaysen, Utah State coming in off a tough loss to Kansas a few days ago, Wednesday evening. They were out there in Lawrence against the number 15 team in the country in those preseason polls, and they're playing like it so far, getting the best of Utah State 2-0. But the Aggies showed some promise in that match. They've got some potential to come in here and right the ship.
Yeah, it really went. The ball just happened to bounce Kansas's way a couple different times. Utah State had a couple unforced errors, but for the most part, they were able to play pretty evenly with a team ranked way up there in the poll.
As we look at our potential matchup today, we have two players that we are really keyed in on, Kaysen. Who are we looking at for Michigan to make a difference and as well for Utah State?
Well, first over for Michigan, I'm going to be looking at Elle Irvin. The junior forward last season led the team and tied for 8th in the Big 12 with 7 goals, as well as adding on those 2 assists. More than half of her shots were on goal, and the Michigan Wolverine offense is going to run through her early and often.
Irvin had 2 shots on goal, 3 total shots in Michigan's season opening draw against Utah Valley back on Thursday. They were down in Orem. 1-1 your final score. Irvin not able to hit the back of the net in that one, but looking to make a difference in this one. Put more shots on the net for Utah State. I believe we've got tabs on Kuni Hirai tonight.
Yeah, Kuni Hirai, the sophomore forward, she's returning, and she was the leading shot taker for any of the returning players last year, and she did that as a freshman. She had 3 goals and 2 assists. You see those 37 shots. And she was named to the Pac-12 preseason impact list, one of the 3 for Utah State, so she's someone to keep an eye on this season.
Aggies and Wolverines getting ready to face off in Utah State's first home appearance in their Pac-12 era. Stockton Jukes, Kaysen Miller with you on the Pac-12 network. We're looking forward to seeing what these two teams bring at each other in just a moment. Stick with us. We'll be back for kickoff in about 2 minutes. About to hear the whistle on the 2026 home season for Utah State. The Wolverines in navy and maize will take the kickoff and send it deep into Utah State's defensive third. Syphonia gets ahead on it. The Aggies wearing all white today in their home debut. Once again, Stockton Jukes, Kaysen Miller here with you for Pac-12 women's soccer at Utah State University in Logan, Utah. A beautiful August evening here in Cache Valley as the clock gets going on Utah State's conference title defense, not the Mountain West title defense, but the Pac-12. New and up for grabs for Manny Martins in his 6th season as the head of the Utah State Aggie program.
Yeah, the Aggies have been riding a high, and they'll be putting it to the test here, joining a new Pac-12 conference. Still expected to finish up there near the top, but we'll have to see how they perform throughout the season.
Taking a look at our starting 11s first for the Michigan Wolverines. Once again wearing their Navy road kits in this one. A nice cut across midfield and a nice slide in as well. Wolverines might have some time down the right side. Zillman starting in net with Eglin on defense. Bosley, Wallach, Kekic, and Jewell. Irvin, Jablinski, Latino, Betteridge, and Fife. Your 11 for the Wolverines. For Utah State, they are going to start once again with Allie Grassoff in net. The senior played all 90 in Kansas on Wednesday, is, according to Manny Martins, the standing starter for the time being for Utah State. Summer Siphonia, Maya Mullenmeister, Kate Christian, Kuni Hirai, Summer Diamond, Talia Winder, Austin Miller, Rachel Wrights, Kata Wilson, and Capril Winder, rounding out your 11 for the Aggies. Wolverines take the throw right around midfield, working from that far side of the pitch back towards the center of the back line. And a couple long shots, couple Hail Marys from the Wolverines early in this one, not able to find their way through that back line for Utah State. That's a very experienced group when it comes to playing with each other. That back four is going to be hard to beat all season long for anyone, as Siphonia makes a great read and takes that ball away down the right side touchline. Heavy touch on the pass, though. Miller lost it. Nice through ball right onto Grassoff. What a save by the senior keeper. The flag is up on the near side. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but Allie Grassoff getting an early touch in, knocking the early season jitters off early, Kaysen.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous play. Didn't end up mattering, but nice to see Grassoff with that reaction to be able to get in front there. That's a tough position. No defenders there to help her. And Utah State's going to have to work on that. That was an unforced error that gave the ball back to Michigan.
And a couple rough touches from Winder on the near side will give Michigan the ball right back off the goal kick. Utah State is 0-11-3 against the Big Ten in program history, but they have never played the Michigan Wolverines, and they've only seen one Big Ten squad in Manny Martin's 5+ years. It was Washington in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago. Drew with them through regular time, ended up losing in the shootout in the postseason. But this is as good a time as ever to break that streak, Kaysen.
Yeah, and the Aggies have a very strong roster. They're riding a very strong streak. Right now is the best opportunity they've had in a long time to take down a Big Ten team.
Winder has the ball far side after a nice takeaway in the middle third. Sends a Hail Mary down the right side for Christian and just outruns her to the end line. Kate Christian getting the start today for Utah State on the right wing. Missed the majority of the 2025 season with injury problems. This will come out as a goal kick for Zillman. Taken short to Zillman, they'll play left. Aggies will press with Christian on that far side. Gets a deflection on the attempted clearance, and it spins its way towards the corner flag. It will be another goal kick. 4 down, 86 to go. Plenty of sunshine still left here in Logan. Zillman, another short goal kick and heavy pressure up front. Yeah, Aggies wanting to take advantage of those short passes for Michigan. Bouncing ball through the middle is taken in by Wilson. Looking for Mullenmeister left side, a little too far out in front of her. Pressure behind. Hirai could not win that ball back. Wolverines come to the near side. Betteridge, long ball forward. Great positioning from Siphonia, and that one rolls harmlessly through for Grassoff.
That was a decently placed ball, but Siphonia was just running step for step.
Grassoff goes short for Siphonia. Centers for Wilson, trying to chip that to the right side. Headed back down into danger. Comes off of a Wolverine forehead and down to Siphonia. They wanted a foul. They're not going to get one on the contact with Wilson. Now Winder, burst of speed down the right side. Has an open lane down the touchline. Hits the brakes over the middle stripe. Drops it off for Christian and back to Siphonia. Heavy touch Wilson, a little bit of rust there, slides in and saves her own mistake, but now one-on-one, Siphonia going down the field with Jablinski, knocks that out for a Michigan corner. The first of the game will go to Big Blue.
Another nice defensive recovery there from Siphonia to get in the way of that shot. That was a dangerous position.
Going to be taken on the near side by Addie Wallach, the junior out of Greenwood Village, Colorado. Going to set up for that left-footed in-swinger. 4 Wolverines on the far side of the box, 2 right up against the goal line. Sent to the 18-yard line, right in the middle. Aggies clear it away without much fuss. Into the 7th minute now here in Logan. Another long ball down that right side will roll out for a grass-off goal kick. And Utah State, unfamiliar territory early in this one at home. They usually dominate possession time for the first 15 or so minutes of their matches at the bell. Haven't had many touches in the offensive half early in this one.
Yeah, Michigan really adjusted. In their game at Utah Valley, they were getting dominated in the first half. It looked like they were needing to knock some rust off. They gave up 7 corners in that first half, but right now Michigan instead has come out firing.
Miller colliding in the middle with Bosley. Bosley comes away with it. All the way back now to Zillman outside the 18. Eglund, long ball down the right side. Talia Winder off the left foot and out for a Michigan throw. Betteridge the throw. Into a triangle of Aggies. Bounces out for Betteridge, knocks it through. Miller drops it back, and Winder sends it forward. Aggies having a hard time controlling those first touches. Very heavy off the boot early in this one, Kaysen.
Yeah, like you said, quite a few heavy touches, quite a few errant passes, and it's given Michigan the ability to dominate possession early.
Good read and touch from Christian on the far side, just as we were a little bit critical of those touches. Christian shows off the finesse and then follows it up with a pass out of bounds in front of the Aggie bench. Far side throw this time from Jewell. Back to midfield, and the Wolverines content to play with their back 3. Miss-hit pass, though. Utah State's got to throw over midfield. Winder going to move quickly. The Aggies want to push numbers up the field. Michigan the edge in seniority in this one. A lot of seniors taking the field to start this match for Michigan. For Utah State, though, comprised of mostly juniors and sophomores this season.
Yep.
Still plenty of experience despite the majority underclassmen on the field.
Yeah, plenty of returning players for Utah State, and most of them underclassmen that have been contributing since very early in their careers.
Long ball, far side for Christian. Heavy touch, just trying to keep it in bounds, and forces an errant clearance for Michigan. Aggie throw right in front of the Wolverine bench. Approaching the 10th minute. Heavy contact on our first whistle of the game will go against the Wolverines. Looks like Jewell's the guilty party on that one. Free kick for Utah State just wide of that fresh Pac-12 logo on the far side of the field. Summer Diamond looks to be standing over it for now. So our official's going to come over and mark the spot and then walk off the wall for Michigan. They're going to send 2 just to crowd Diamond's vision a little bit. Aggies have 4 white shirts mixing the paint on top of the 18 right now. Christian in an offside position on the far side of the box closest to Diamond. And the dummy from Winder sets up Summer Diamond's right foot. Lays it down the right side for Winder. Crosses into the side netting, and it'll be a goal kick. Not a bad play design there from Annie Martins, trying to get that cross coming in from a lower angle. Just couldn't get it back into the scrum.
Yeah, and they were able to get it past that back line, but they were just able to recover in time.
Dangerous pressure from Hirai now, forcing some urgent work from Elle Fife. And Fife is going to lose that ball for a Utah State throw, level with the 18. Into the 11th minute now, 10 down here in Logan. Utah State finding their footing.
Yeah, it looked a little rough for the first few minutes, but they've really started to compose themselves as the first half has moved on.
Throw looking for Hirai, taken down by 2 Wolverines. Working up the field now under pressure. Michigan can't squeeze anything through midfield. Knockdown clean by Siphonia. She'll switch to the left side. Talia Winder. Nice cut to the middle of the field. Recenters for Wrights. Down that right side, Diamond. Diamond walking it in, looking for the left foot. Takes one from outside the 18, wide left. Summer Diamond from 18 to 25 yards with that left foot is dangerous. I'm not going to want to give her too many looks like that, Kaysen.
Yeah, Diamond has been contributing since a freshman. She's always been able to find the back of the net. That one just a little bit wide.
That press for Utah State is really starting to clamp down on Michigan up on the north end of the field. 12th minute of action, still 0-0. But the Aggies spending some time in the attacking half now. Another chip attempt over that back line is dealt with well as Wilson calls off Winder. Puts her defender in the blender. Gets past another. Gets past a third. There she goes through the middle of the pitch from all the way in the back line. Slides through to save that pass. A foul is called there on Wilson. She went through the ball and then through the legs of a Wolverine, and our head ref signaling that that's a little too physical early in this one. Bad pass again for Michigan. They're starting to lose that touch. It's switching now. Early in this one, the first 5 minutes, Michigan, beautiful on-ball action, keeping it away from Utah State. We're seeing the opposite as we go into the 13th.
And that's wonderful composure by the Aggies. The momentum started off really hard in the Wolverines' favor, but the Aggies have really bounced back.
Heavy contact again on the far side. That time it's going to be Elle Irvin going through the side of an Aggie, and Summer Diamond will back it up 10 yards and hit this set piece one more time.
In their last game, Michigan had 8 fouls, and 7 of those came in the first half.
Aggies taking their time setting this one up. It's the same loose structure as that first set piece they ran. Caprill Winder steps over it, running the dummy for Diamond. Let's see if she puts this in the box this time. Yeah, she'll go long. Doesn't make it across the 18. Knocked out of the air, I believe that was Mullenmeister. She went down to ground, and Utah State takes it back just inside of midfield. Another big shoulder, bit of an elbow shiver on the far side. Utah State continues play and sends that cross well over the end line. And some good sportsmanship out there between, I believe that was Jewel and Austin Miller, or was it Kate Christian? It was Christian. Physical but not chippy yet. We'll see if that changes over the next few minutes, Kaysen.
Yeah, and these two teams, no bad blood, no history at all. First time meeting, so no reason to be heated yet.
Awkward spinning ball. Mullenmeister thought she had a run being made through the middle. No one there. Ricochets off of a forehead at midfield. Comes down to Diamond, and the Aggies re-control possession. Syphonia. Knuckleball down that right side. Hirai tried to lob it over for the give and go, just wasn't able to make the run on the back end. It ends up with Diamond again anyway. Now Wilson looking left. Might want to switch the play here for Utah State. Sends a long ball left side for Mullenmeister. Drop back for Winder. And a nice run being made through that left middle. Re-centered into the box. Mullenmeister's on it. Centering too far behind Kate Christian. Cleared out to the 18. Knocked down a bit weakly there by Michigan. And Wilson will get the attack reset inside the center circle. Syphonia, excellent second touch. Gets past one. Feed towards the top of the 18. Bodies tangle up. That ball comes loose, and the Wolverines have it again.
The Aggies were finally able to break their way into the box, but just not able to make a connection once they got deep in there.
Wrights back to Winder. Wilson again. Michigan a little reluctant to press past midfield early in this one. Wrights knocks it down off an awkward spin, hits Winder in transition. Winder rockets one in towards Hirai. It gets through. The flag stays down. Bounces out for Michigan, and they clear it out for a Utah State throw. That was a perfectly timed run for Hirai, and they really start to find their rhythm.
Yeah, it gave a defender a haircut, but just right in the spot there. Here, I wasn't expecting that to get past.
Deep throw coming from Talia Winder. About halfway down the 18, near side of the pitch. Mullenmeister, the short option. They go medium instead. Now knocked up to Mullenmeister. Leaves it on the ground for Austin Miller. Long right-footed shot, tipped over by Zillman. First save of the game goes to the true freshman, Malia Zillman. Approaching minute number 17 here at the bell. Utah State's got their first corner of the match, one apiece.
Great reaction there by Zillman. That's a tough shot from Austin Miller. Started to drop down.
Austin Miller, a local product out of Green Canyon High School just up the road. Cross right towards the middle, just over the head of Wilson as she tried to nod that one towards the net. Wrights follows it up, and then a left-footed shot over the crossbar. Shaving the post. Cooney Hirai is getting closer and closer.
Man, lots of traffic. Ball was loose, and she just had to let it rip just a tiny bit underneath it.
Zillman getting some work now for Michigan. Takes the medium option to the near side. Betteridge gives it up to the back line, and they go back to Zillman once more as Hirai increases the pressure. Wilson, long header forward. Bad angle for the Wolverines, takes an awkward bounce. Kate Christian in pursuit, runs through the back of Campbell Jewell, and that will be a free kick for the Wolverines.
Yeah, she did just go right through Jewell. A little bit too much contact for right now.
18th minute, Wolverines play it short. Pressure from Austin Miller wins the ball back. No foul that time. Miller slows it down, waits for numbers as Utah State moves 5 bodies in towards the 18. Awkward touch on that far side from Christian, and she gets whistled again. That leash is going to get a little bit tighter for Kate Christian the rest of this half. Always a very physically minded forward. Gotta imagine she was super excited to get back to some live game action this season.
Yeah, and Utah State definitely missed her last season. She was very productive the years before. It was unfortunate that they couldn't keep her on the pitch last year.
Great read. Siphonia runs through and breaks that up. Back into the middle third now. Leaves it on the far side for Christian. Now Diamond with pressure behind. Gives it up. Great takeaway. Elle Irvin with the stand-up tackle. Knocked out for a Michigan throw at the Utah State water tent. It's about 86 degrees here in Cache Valley. Not sure if that's high enough to warrant a water break, but if it is, we're about 5 minutes out from a hydration break. 18:26 off the clock here in Logan.
Definitely a much nicer environment than what the Aggies had to play in recently. Had 2 hydration breaks per half in their game at Kansas.
Oh, what a ball over the top. Mullenmeister has an empty net, chips with the left foot, goal! Maya Mullenmeister opens the bank account for Utah State in 2026.
That all starts with that pass. Beautifully placed on the far side, and a beautiful run by Mullenmeister. Caught the goalie out of position, and a beautiful left-footed shot.
It took Utah State nearly 119 minutes to find the back of the net for the first time this season, but they just had to wait till they got home to do it, Kaysen. Back at the bell in dominant fashion. Utah State, for I don't know how many times in the last 3 years, has scored first in the first 20 minutes. A stat that popped up on our feeds just before we came on the air, Case, and it feels relevant to mention now. Utah State is a week shy of not having lost at this field in 3 years. Their last loss at the bell in regulation, August 24th, 2023. Let's take another look at that finish from Mullenmeister. It was a matter of that ball just clearing the head of the defender, and then it was the empty net for number 3.
Beautifully placed. She took her time, made sure she could plant her right foot and put that in just the right spot.
Wolverines are going to stack midfield as they look to respond quickly in this one. If there's one thing that Utah State loves more than winning at home, it's leading at home. They have a very, very hard time giving up a lead at the bell. Ping-ponging around now in the transition zone between midfield and the Wolverines attacking third. They'll look down the left side. Too heavy on that far side for Irvin. And another goal kick for Grassoff.
I'm very impressed with the defensive pressure from the Aggies, especially after that first few minutes, but they have really turned on the heat, and it's caused Michigan to make a few errors.
Short take for Grassoff. Now Wilson in a little bit of trouble. Just puts all of her right foot behind it. Finds Kate Christian on the touchline. Back to Siphonia. Back to Grassoff. Side for Winder. Mullenmeister again knocks it down for Diamond. Just scoots that away from pressure for Winder. Wrights backs it up for Wilson. $20 down, 70 to go here in Logan as the Aggies lead it 1-0. Thanks to the 19th minute left-footed goal by Mullenmeister. Great defensive pressure from behind by Jewell. A little bit of a shove, but gets away with it for now. That's not going to be one that we get away with. Kuni Hirai going shoulder to shoulder with Irvin.
Yeah, maybe a little frustrated after she felt there was too much contact when she was dispossessed.
Some flashes of hockey there. It's what do they say about hockey again? It's a self-policing sport. Siphonia takes a shove to the back on that header, and they will whistle the Wolverines for that one. I think we're going to see our head referee start getting a little more involved here as the physical contact ramps up into the 22nd minute.
Yeah, with how often these fouls are starting to come in, the official might have to step in to calm things down.
So officially on the score sheet now in the 19th minute, it is Maya Mullenmeister, thanks to the long-distance feed from Kata Wilson, who gets her first assist and point of the season. Grassoff tries to go long down the left side for Winder, just a little bit too heavy. And we're going to see our first bit of substitutions now as the Wolverines send 3 in, and Utah State brings the hometown hero onto the field for the first time in her Utah State career. Logan High School alum Mia Lopez, after spending her freshman season, down at BYU, 6 goals scored for the Cougars, their second leading goal scorer in her freshman season. She made the move back to Cache Valley, and she will join the attack, the left side of the attacking midfield.
Yeah, she was also marked as a player to watch in the Impact.
Taken down off a heavy touch by Wilson, through the middle for Miller. Miller under pressure, back to Siphonia. 3 substitutions for the Wolverines. Lily Bosley out for Beanie Harshey. Addie Wallach out for Riley McKinney, and El Irvin out for Natel El Mokbel. Aggies playing catch on that far side, staying away from the pressure. Happy to just pass around in their half. Now switching to Winder on the near side. Heavy touch from Talia, just lost that one. Put her body back in the way, though. Works through that hold. And the tug from Harshey is not going to be unnoticed by the referee. You can see Winder getting a little bit frustrated there. And like we said, Case, about, 5 minutes ago, that chippiness, it's going to come.
Yeah, and it's already starting to build up, especially where the Aggies have already got on the board and hold the lead. It's putting the pressure even harder onto Michigan.
Into the 24th minute now. It looks like we are going to avoid the hydration breaks today. That one, an awkward bounce right in front of the boot of Winder, goes out for a Michigan throw. They'll take it right about the midfield stripe. Latino drops it back, switching to the left side now for Jewell. Hard ball up that far side. Dispossessed. Caprill Winder comes away with it. El Mokbel could not get around number 41 for Utah State. And that's just some of that experience that we've been talking about for this Utah State backline, despite, sophomore, junior, sophomore across that backline for Utah State. They've got a full season of experience under their belts, and they played together phenomenally. Always on the same page.
Yeah, they performed well last year, and they've just had extra time to build that chemistry now. And that was beautiful footwork out there by Winder.
Ball comes down for Mia Lopez as she takes her first few touches of this one. Rights to the near side for Winder. Plays it off a bounce. Better touch that time. Left side Mullenmeister standing on the pressure on the touchline. Now Lopez Could not get to that one. Got her legs tangled up with a Wolverine. Mokbel again under pressure from Siphonia at midfield this time. Siphonia will drop off as Austin Miller steps in. Blocked down Hirai. Couldn't get back to that second ball. Mokbel again up the left side. Into the middle for McKinney. Right side now Harshy. Into the wing, Jablinski centering. Didn't get anything underneath that one, and an easy clearance for Wilson.
First sign of life we've seen from Michigan in the last little bit, finally being able to move the ball down the pitch.
Out of play. A bit of sloppy possession for Michigan off the throw, and now Utah State will make a trio of substitutions. Miller, Hirai, and Christian heading to the bench. Ellie Hendricks, I believe that is Selena Sellers. It is Selena. Your final substitution, Hadley Barrera, the sophomore out of Mountain Crest High, just down the road. A lot of former Region 11 products in this lineup for Utah State. Always love to see the locals stay local. Good slide through by Wilson, and then late on the second try, she's going to jog away, no argument. A little too early for a card, but the next one will put her in the book. Quickly taken by Michigan, opening up some space for Jablinski on the right wing. Gets the cross over everyone's head, stays on the end line. And that's going to roll out of play as Michigan couldn't touch it in an offside position. Another goal kick for Grassoff, 27th minute. It is still 1-0 Utah State. And now we will see Samantha Sellers make her way onto the field, joining her older sister Selena.
We had a chance to talk with Coach Martins, and he said that he doesn't like to call it his bench. Instead, he calls it his game changers, players that can come in and change the game in a positive way. And they've got quite a bit of depth this season from what he said.
Coach Martins has always run a program that plays every position by committee. Throughout a match, it's not uncommon to see upwards of 22 different Aggies on the score sheet. Siphonia back to Grassoff, a little out in front of her. Good touch by Allie to settle it down. Takes a beat, rockets it forward, a little wide of Lopez, but it comes back to Wrights. Barrera, her first few touches, looking down that right side for Winder. Ends up with Hendricks instead. Mullenmeister, the sub for Samantha Sellers. You can see that top left of your screen. Hendricks playing that right wing back position. Joining the back line. Utah State changing shape a little bit too. Just 3 on the back line now after that last round of substitutions. Winder playing further up the field as the left wing back. And this is something we also see from Martins a lot. He loves to get his wing backs up the field. Long ball looking to connect with Sellers. Just a little too over the head. Little past halfway here in the first half. Still 1-0 Utah State. Sellers nods it down. Hendricks trying to play it out of the middle of the field. She has moved up to replace Caprill Winder from that far side. Very flexible formation, it seems, from Annie Martins today.
Yeah, and the Aggies have the ability to do that, have the ability to move very fluidly around the pitch, change their formation as they go, depending on the situation.
Bodies flying now as Sellers gets tangled up with a Wolverine. Sellers signaling to the official, hey, listen, Beanie Harshy had all of my jersey in her hand. Doesn't matter. Harshy goes to ground, gets the whistle. Shadows starting to stretch out now as we approach the 30-minute mark in the first half. Lights have been turned on preemptively. We may be able to get through this entire match with natural sunlight. But Utah State going to make yet another substitution. Rachel Wrights will duck off, and we will see Kiyo Neda for the first time. Again, Wilson running up the field, gets her heel clipped there. Wants a a booking there from our head official as she throws her hand in the air going to the ground. It's just a little too early still for our official to go to the book. I agree with that.
Yeah, and it didn't seem malicious enough to warrant any card just yet.
Especially this early in the season, too. Starting to figure out your timing. Give them a little extra grace. Ball ricochets out top of the 18. Knocked down by the Wolverines, but it ends up with Sellers. Sellers double-teamed, sandwiched off the ball. The Wolverines send it out for a Utah State throw about 20 yards up the field. $30 down, 60 to go here in Logan. 1-0 Utah State, your score as we approach the end of half number one. Wilson, a couple good touches, just can't get to the third one in time. Spins all the way back for Winder. Caprill beaten one-on-one there as that's poked away, and the Wolverines will make the rush 2-on-4 up the field. Great cut. That one laid off into the path of a teammate, and Siphonia steps in right on top of the 18. Aggies quickly the other way. Yoneda gets rid of it to Lopez. Now Hendricks filters it off to the right side. Barrera drops it back. Winder. And they'll reset Siphonia, another Mountain Crest product. Skips one over to Talia Winder. Great first touch to lead her up the field. Now Sellers sweeps that one down the left side, opens up a crossing lane, walks it down the end line, centering. Awkward touch. Hendricks might have had a beat to it. Now Lopez, left foot goal. Half volley. Mia Lopez, welcome back to Cache Valley.
That ball just stayed on the ground and stayed in the box for too long. Mia Lopez cleaning up with a tough left-footed shot. No time for the goalkeeper to react.
"32nd minute, Mia Lopez reintroduces herself to the folks in Logan. Let's take another look at that left-footed half volley from just outside the 18. It's been a game of ricochets, and Utah State's getting the best of the bounces so far. Just a beautiful touch. Chest, ground, left foot goal. Michigan is challenging for a handball. Potentially went off Hendricks' left hand earlier in the build-up to that goal. We're going to take an extended look at this one. The officials with access to the replay monitor you can see on the right side of your screen there.
And this could be a big change. It's a huge difference going from 1-0 to 2-0. So if Michigan is able to bring it back, then they'd be able to get away with a nice break.
We'll go ahead and see if we can get an informative angle on that build up to the play. Again, it would have been a couple touches before Lopez got her left foot on the ball. Hendricks was in the box, and that ball may have glanced off of her left hand. It's just a matter of whether that arm was far enough off her body to warrant an unnatural position.
Yeah, and it didn't look like anything obvious on the pitch. Nothing clear enough for the official to see it as it happened.
So they do not call the handball. The goal stands for Lopez, and it's 2-0 early in the 32nd.
And that's huge for the Aggies. They have all the momentum, and they're still applying pressure. They were still pressing hard against that back line of Michigan, even with the 1-0 lead. And it allowed them to double it.
And I'll tell you what, Kaysen, if that's what we're going to get from Mia Lopez as a brand new Utah State Aggie, give me 10 more.
Yeah, definitely a name the Aggie fans are going to have to keep an eye on this season.
Wolverines, it would appear, made a substitution during that dead ball. Ragunandanan comes in, her first appearance of the game. Big physical scrap on the near side for the ball. The whistle is going to go against Victoria Espinosa, who comes into the game for the first time for Utah State, but not a lot of happy Aggie faces feeling that Beanie Harshey should have been the whistled party again. That's a couple that Harshey's been involved in now, where she's drawing some whistles for Michigan. It's going to be something to keep an eye on if they are going to be able to generate more set pieces like this one.
She's been able to stay very physical here on the near side and has drawn a lot of those fouls from the Aggies.
6 Navy shirts in the 18 for Michigan. Harshey does not get all of that one. Stays low and cleared out by Utah State. Hendricks in pursuit. Going to be the second one to the ball. As Jewell spins away from her, Hendricks knocks it out for a Michigan throw. 33rd minute here in the first half. 2-0 Utah State. First it was Molenmeister, then it was Lopez. Both of them with the left foot. And both of them from outside the 18. Double team Utah State going to ground on the near side again. The press for Michigan moving up the pitch now. Bit of miscommunication. Siphonia has to hit the eject button.
Yeah, just misplayed there in the box, and it's a good thing the Aggies had so many numbers down there in the box to get that loose ball.
Harshey looking for a throw option. Takes a couple deflections, still rolling loose. Now a long right-footed cross onto the top of the net. And Grassoff will send this away from the 6 one more time.
Seems like there's been a couple of times that the Wolverines have been in a spot to get a cross in there, and they just haven't been able to make any connections.
Grassoff goes short. Wilson to the left side. Espinosa moving it up for Sellers. Sellers gets a tug, held onto the ball, but the official going to give Utah State a free kick. Not much of an advantage was building there for Utah State. They're going to leave this one with Wilson. Siphonia, the only one behind her. And she'll drop it back to Summer Siphonia right in the middle of that transition zone. Pings one off to the right side. Hendricks with a beautiful first touch. Gets around one. Drops it off. Yoneda. Now right side Winder. Oh, what a touch. Spin cycle for Winder, and then a heavy slide tackle a bit late there from the Wolverines. Another free kick for Utah State in front of that Michigan bench. Now that one just judged as a throw there. And immediately taken away by Michigan and taken right back by Utah State. Physicality just continuing to ramp up as the minutes tick off the clock. Rolling all the way back now again for Kata Wilson. Utah State squeezing the possession out of Michigan as we've got 10 minutes left in the first half. Great ball forward, just too far out in front of Selena Sellers. Excellent vision from the true freshman for Utah State. Espinosa saw that one developing from several yards back.
And Ellie Fife, the defender, was able to stay step for step and just put herself right in the way to make sure that run didn't happen.
Two aside coming together there. That ball still ricocheting around and taken back by Utah State. Barrera forward for Sellers. Sellers trying to get across the 18 to set up the left foot. Yoneda from 35 out drills a Wolverine. Comes to the near side of the field for Espinosa, who drops it back Wilson. Yoneda, Hendricks with a heavy touch, lost that one. And the Wolverines will go all the way back. Zillman sends it to the opposite side of midfield. Winder tangled up, lost her footing. Michigan comes away with the ball down the left side. Trying to center this one for a teammate. It's taken away by Siphonia again. All over it on the back line is Summer Siphonia. Picking up right where she left off last season, Kaysen.
Yeah, we've already called her name multiple times today. Very strong defender, and especially just as a sophomore.
Substitution again for Michigan. Looks like they're going to bring in number 8, Brooklyn Marn, the sophomore. Taking a bit to get this throw back in are the Wolverines. Hendricks a bit early on the jump there, still comes away with the ball. Lopez back to Sifonia. Espinoza back to Wilson. Just under 8 remaining in the first half. Ellie Hendricks wide open in the middle of that attacking third transition zone. Goes off to the right for Winder, who wants to put a long ball in towards Sellers. Comes up short as Zillman falls on it.
The Aggies have had a couple of those deep passes work out in their favor.
Hard-headed ball forward. Lopez trying to work around her mark. Ragunandanan did not let her get through. First couple touches now for Marn. Could not beat Espinoza down the right wing. Lopez, Yoneda chipping one over. Sellers a little too far behind that one. Wasn't ready to make the run. 39th minute of action. Utah State continues to lead 2-0. Espinoza off the leg. Takes the throw backwards for Wilson. Maybe a bit too far out in front of Winder, but Caprill manages to keep it inbounds. Forward for Barrera off the foot of a Wolverine. And another fortunate bounce for the Aggies as they'll have a throw in front of the Wolverine medical tent. Winder up to take it.
Great job of keeping that one in play to keep the Aggie possession alive.
Long throw, edge of the 18, takes one bounce in front of Sellers. She makes the turn, gets dragged down inside the box as she got the shot off, and the official just turns and jogs away. Not enough to warrant a penalty there, but there was a good fistful of shoulder jersey on that one. Another errant pass from the Wolverines, and we talked about this the first 10 minutes case, and Michigan was dominating possession time for the first 8 to 10 minutes. Once we got to double digits on the clock, everything has gone away for the Wolverines.
Yeah, seems the Aggies really flipped a switch, and it's caused Michigan to kind of crumble under the pressure. They've been making quite a few errant passes, just giving it back to the Aggies.
Now, granted, working with a couple of factors out of their control, playing at altitude, playing on the road to open the season, a brand new head coach this season. Lopez making a great run, gets around, left-footed shot off the outside of the net. She loves that left foot.
That was tough. Just a few feet away from sneaking that one in. She had an angle.
Zillman going to send it away from the 6 one more time with 5 to go in the first half. Another Michigan substitution. Make it a pair of subs. Ragunandanan's going to come off the field, replaced by El Mokbel. Jablinski heads off for Coda Jones. Heavy touch off the goal kick. Hendricks there to cause some chaos, but cannot get to the second ball. Wolverines on the run down the left wing. The pass does not come yet, though. Trying to center it. Sifonia is in the way, and the Aggies have it again.
Sifonia again just being able to jump right in the passing lane.
Yoneda backing it off for Wilson. Now near side Espinoza. Victoria down the left side. Sellers takes it in. Samantha Sellers cutting in towards the middle of the field. Tries to lay it off for Lopez. Great read and interception by McKinney. Just behind Yoneda. Scoots through. Lesser now to the left side. Trying to open up the right foot. Centering one instead for El Mobek, but cannot connect. Long ball, right wing. Sellers just too far behind it. Selena Sellers half a step away from that one. Great touch. El Mokbel down that left side again. Lesser centering for her one more time. They can't connect yet. Sellers fighting through some contact. Chips one down the left side for her elder sister, Samantha. Advantage given to Utah State as Selena is slow to get up, but Samantha steps in with the right foot off of a Wolverine head and out for another Aggie corner with 3 to go in the first half.
Great defense right there. It looked like she had an angle, and she was going to put that one up in the top corner.
Utah State looks like they might be making one more substitution, as do the Wolverines. Stella Tapia getting the nod, and Abby Hironaka coming on as well. Two and a half to go in the first half. Utah State, their second quarter of the match. Right-footed in-swinger. Short option as well. They take the short option. Espinoza, left-footed cross. Oh, making the run was Wilson. Just couldn't get that left foot to it cleanly. Gets a second header on. Zillman was all over it the second time of asking.
Yeah, at that angle, just not very much power you can get with the header, and Zillman read it all the way.
Barrera off the far touchline, drops it back to Winder. Hironaka trying to chip that one through, a little too far left. Great stand-up tackle, though, frees that ball up for a moment. Sellers almost able to get there, but Selena Sellers goes down to ground again, taking a couple hard pieces of contact late in this first half. Just over a minute remaining in this first half. The Wolverines trail 2-0. Utah State with goals from Mullenmeister and Lopez in the first half. Now Lesser looking for an option. Into the middle, McKinney. Rolls it off to the right side for Sims. Excuse me, no, that is Tapia. And the cross behind Grassoff for another goal kick, Utah State. 55 seconds remaining in the first half, and the Aggies will take their time putting this one back in play.
Yeah, no reason to hurry right now. No reason to try to force anything, to make any mistakes. Just go into the half with this 2-0 lead.
Winder again, back to Siphonia. Up to Winder. Utah State will start the rush now with about 30 seconds left in the half. Long ball down the right side. Selena Sellers sees that one glance off the hip and out of play. 15 seconds left in the half. Michigan throw. This should just about do it for the first half, and for Utah State, about as dreamy as you can ask for your home opener. 8 shots, 4 shots on goal, 7 fouls whistled against them, 2 corners. For Michigan, they've failed to put a shot at all on the score sheet. Committed 6 fouls, just the 1 corner. 2 saves from Zillman, but 2 goals for the Aggies as they take that 2-0 deficit into halftime. Stockton Jukes, Kason Miller here with you for Pac-12 Women's Soccer. We'll be right back from Logan, Utah for your halftime updates. It is so good to be back at the Bell, and Utah State feeling the energy from their home crowd, converting that into a 2-0 lead at halftime. Stockton Jukes, Kaysen Miller here with you for Pac-12 women's soccer and the home debut of the 2026 Utah State Aggies. They have not beaten a Big Ten program in the history of Utah State soccer, but they're on a good track to do it tonight, Kaysen.
Yeah, right now they're in really good position. You know, it was getting a little worrying after those first couple minutes for the Aggie fans, but then something switched, something flipped on, and the Aggies all of a sudden were putting tons of pressure on Michigan for the last 35 minutes of that first half, and they were really holding strong, dominating the possession, and forcing Michigan to make quite a few unforced errors.
Now you can see that big save from Grassoff. That was about 3 minutes into this match. It would be negated because the offside flag had gone up. As a result, Utah State has kept Michigan from putting a shot on the stat sheet. Meanwhile, they've got 8 of their own, 4 of those on goal, 2 of them into the back of the net. The first one there from Mullenmeister with an empty net, catching Zillman off the line. And then take a look at this run of play. Bouncing ball comes around, knocked out, chested down, left foot, back of the net, Mia Lopez. Give me 10 more of those from the Logan native.
Yeah, and she almost had another one later on that we take a look at right here, just a few feet outside that crossbar. But the Aggies have been dominant. Their pressure that they've been applying on that back line of Michigan has allowed them to really keep the ball in their attacking half. And that's the reason for 0 shots from Michigan. Nothing has really had any life to it since those first few minutes.
Seeing the chippiness ramp up as well. We talked about it about halfway through that first half. There was a lot of physicality. It hadn't gotten chippy yet. You take a look at those last 20 minutes of the first half. We're starting to head that way. Utah State with the advantage in corners as well. No saves being forced out of Allie Grassoff just yet. One more foul committed by Utah State than the Wolverines. We will see how that pans out. Kaysen, as we look towards the second half, what are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm hoping the Aggies are able to keep that pressure on. We'll have to see if they stay as aggressive on the offensive and defensive side. And for Michigan, they need to come out and they need to play more technical. They need to be more precise with their small passes, those unforced errors. They need to limit them in order to build something to be able to put some pressure on the Aggies.
Still rolling through halftime here in Cache Valley. Starting to get a little bit darker, the shadows a little bit longer. The lights have been turned on. We'll be playing under the lights for the end of the second half tonight. A beautiful setting. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more women's Pac-12 soccer in just a moment. Back at Chuck and Gloria Bell Field, 45 down, 45 to go between the Utah State Aggies and the Michigan Wolverines. Stockton Jukes, Kaysen Miller here with you for some Pac-12 women's soccer, the home opener for Utah State. And it was a great season again for Utah State in 2025. Back at home, dominant, but really that third Mountain West championship kind of highlighting that run for Manny Martins. 5 seasons, 3 conference championships for the skipper for Utah State. They did lose in penalties to BYU in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Both their last tournament appearances, they've had to go to penalties. They would eventually lose first to the Huskies and then to the Cougars last season. But for Michigan, they've been a little bit behind that pace for Utah State. 6-8-4 last season, 3-4-4 in the Big Ten. Finished in that 11th spot, head coach Jennifer Klein resigning back in January and opening the door for Dave Diani to join the program from the Iowa Hawkeyes. That brings them to this season, and however Michigan not looking the best in the Big Ten preseason poll, still picked to go 11th this season, Kaysen, and I think that's fair when you're looking at a program building with a new head coach.
Yeah, and that is right where they finished last season. They finished 11th in the Big Ten. And this year, with a new head coach, they're trying to rebuild. They want to start from the ground up. They were able to bring back a lot of their starters from last season. But with a head coach coming into a new program, they'll have to prove themselves to move up that ranking.
Now for Utah State, coming off of 3 successive conference titles, the rest of the Pac-12 thinks that they're set for a 4th. Utah State coming in at the top of the Pac-12 preseason poll. Now here's a bit of a surprise for me, Kaysen. The Texas State Bobcats right behind them in second, expected to be just behind the Aggies in the Pac-12 this year. And as one of the surprise newcomers to the Pac-12, that's exciting for the Bobcats, a chance to really make their mark in this league.
Yeah, Texas State coming all the way up from the Sun Belt, and they do seem to have a very strong program this season. They will really give the Pac-12 a run for its money.
Boise State just behind them in 3rd, and San Diego State the top 4. Those are the 4 expected to be playing in the Pac-12 tournament in November. That'll be hosted by the team with the highest non-conference RPI once we figure out who's going to be participating. Let's say you've got Colorado State with a super high non-con RPI, but they're not playing in that tournament. They wouldn't host it. We'd go to the next one down. Going to be interesting to see how these next few months play out in a new league for the Pac-12. But Kaysen, Utah State in the #1 spot again, like they were in the Mountain West last season. Not surprised by that one either.
Yeah, Coach Martins has really done a great job of rebuilding this program over the last few years. The 3 straight tournament champions, the 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances. He's really rebuilt this program, and then Michigan is trying to do that exact same thing with head coach Dave Diani.
The sun is going down. The lights are coming on here at Chuck and Gloria Bell Field, one of the premier venues in the West for collegiate women's soccer. Excited for the second half. We'll be back for the Aggies and the Wolverines in just a moment. We are getting set for the second set of 45 minutes here in Cache Valley between the Utah State Aggies and the Michigan Wolverines. Stockton Jukes, Kaysen Miller here with you for Pac-12 women's soccer, the home debut for Utah State, the Pac-12 debut for the Aggies as the new era begins. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the league, what they've been up to this weekend. 2-0 Lipscomb over Oregon State earlier this afternoon. Colorado State getting past in-state rival Denver down in Fort Collins. St. Mary's get the best of Fresno State in Moraga, California today, but Boise State over Weber State just a moment ago down in Ogden. The Broncos taking down the Weber State Wildcats 4-1. Gonzaga shut out by Oregon 3-0, and Texas State with 20 minutes to go up 4-0 over UTRGV. About a 50-50 day for the Pac-12, but Utah State as the nightcap, really making sure that people understand the danger of the top of the table in the Pac-12.
Yeah, the Pac-12 is going to be a very tough conference this season in women's soccer. Right now, the Aggies currently holding on to try to cap off the Pac-12's night.
Aggies are going to have the kickoff to open up the second half after Michigan began the first. One more time, the Aggies in their all-whites at home with the pinstripes across the chest. Michigan in their navy and maize road kits. And Diamond nods that one forward for Hirai, who gets slid through right at the opening whistle. Very, very late from El Irvin. Hirai gets up and seems to be okay. Irvin's going to be lucky to not go in the book there.
Yeah, that was quick. 3 seconds in, and we already got our first foul of the second half.
Maybe a touch lackadaisical there from Hirai getting that ball away, but Irvin got to be careful as we start the second half. The official's going to be less hesitant about going into the book. Off the back of the head for a Wolverine, and the Aggies open up the second half with a corner kick. They're going to send Mia Lopez over to take this one.
Despite all the pressure, still, this is only the third corner the Aggies have been able to force today.
They seem to favor the in-swingers this time. Lopez going to use that right foot to swing it back in. One arm in the air, plays it short instead, dropped down, left-footed out-swinging cross, too far behind Wilson, who could not settle it cleanly. And it rockets all the way out for Capril Winder. Lopez off a good pass from Winder, a little too narrow on the forward attempt for Hirai. Now Irvin out of the air, heavy touch, lost her footing, ends up with Summer Diamond. Back to Wrights. Lopez again, filtering the play to the left wing for Utah State. Molenmeister back on to start the second half, looking for a cross. Nice burst of speed, left foot in towards Zillman, off the net, and a right-footed ricochet by Diamond goes right to the Wolverine keeper. Just unlucky there for the senior midi.
Yeah, that's tough. The ball just happened to bounce in Michigan's favor right there, but another dangerous possession by the Aggies.
And again, it's just a real struggle to settle and keep possession for Michigan as we start this second half. Winder, nice cut again to get away from some pressure. Drops it off for Wilson. Hail Mary down the left side for Sellers. No, excuse me, Molenmeister. That's going to connect. Molenmeister through the legs, gets taken down a little bit late inside the box, but enough of the ball got there by a Wolverine to avoid a penalty. Now Christian, lots of space in the right side of the box. A little bit split between two minds there, it looked like Kate Christian, and just ends up line driving that right into the arms of Zillman.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation. Sometimes you're too wide open on the side, and she got caught between a cross and a shot.
Diamond knocks that out for a Michigan throw in transition. Looks like Jewell will stay and take it. Long on the throw. Winder doesn't get a clean header on it. Trying to go left. Does not connect that time with Irvin. Aggies will send it out for a Wolverine throw, and Michigan's going to take all of 3 minutes before making another substitution in this second half. Back line replacement as Ella Sims comes in to replace Annabelle Eglund.
And here in Logan, it is 3,700 feet higher than Ann Arbor, so it can be a little tough conditioning-wise on a team having to travel out here to Utah.
4,664 feet above sea level, according to my watch. Quite a bit different than what you get on the East Coast. Ricocheting ball down that right wing. Wolverines trying to get a cross in. It's knocked into the corner by the Aggies, but stays in play. Back to Rachel Wrights. Had that poked away from behind, and it's going to roll out for a grass-off goal kick. One of the things we heard from Coach Martins in the last few days before we got to this match today, just talking about that attack and maybe even the lack thereof of an attack in Lawrence on Wednesday. He thinks that there are certain roles and responsibilities in their structure that they just didn't take care of. He said, obviously, those things are things that we've watched back and filmed, we've addressed in training. The goal is to be better on Sunday. I think I can pretty confidently say after 50 minutes they've been better. This is going to go as a throw and a foul against Utah State, a free kick for Michigan instead of a throw. And Coach Martins was not thrilled with that ruling.
Yeah, tangle up, and definitely a hard fall taken on the far side. Good to see her just get up and walk it off.
It is actually a Utah State free kick. It was a Michigan foul. I guess Coach Martins wanted a card there, but you can definitely see that Michigan is a lot chippier. Zillman spills the catch, but it stays far enough away from net that it doesn't become a problem. We're seeing a little bit of that freshman lack of experience from Zillman in this one. Caught off her line a couple times, and that one almost disastrous again. Now Michigan quickly ricocheting that off of Wilson for a second corner. 3 for Utah State, now 2 for Michigan.
And they have been able to put a little bit more pressure on here at the start of the second half.
Looks like it's going to be El Mokbel to take this one for the Wolverines. Setting up for the left-footed in-swinger. 2 arms in the air, goes short up the left side. Knocked out by Molenmeister. This time it'll be a throw just inside that 18-yard line. Quickly back to El Mokbel, trying to cross it in to a dangerous spot. Irvin ducks out of the way, thought she had a teammate behind, and it's cleared out by Utah State. Great stand-up tackle there from Winder, forces another throw for Michigan, but starting to put a couple of passes together in the attacking third. Been a while since they were able to do that.
Yeah, they've definitely been more consistent in being accurate with those passes. It was one of the issues they had in the first half.
Another chip towards the far post. Irvin just a step behind it as Grassoff catches it cleanly. And Allie Grassoff will take her time getting rid of this one. A bit of a rule change in NCAA women's soccer this season. 8-second maximum for goalkeeper holding the ball. Got to get rid of that ball in 8 seconds or less. That's what you saw the head official counting off there. It used to be a little bit longer, but on par with the standards of professional soccer now. And Summer Diamond just misplayed that first touch for a Michigan throw. Oh, awkward play there. This is going to go to Utah State in the middle of the field. Looks like the Wolverines may have stepped over the line on the throw.
Yeah, not a call you see very often at this level.
Now play being held as the Aggies will make their first substitution of the second half. Molenmeister heads off, and Samantha Sellers comes back on. Winder waiting for the whistle. There it is. Short throw for Diamond. Clears it out for Wrights. Wrights now going left side as Samantha Sellers had her arm in the air, goes through a Wolverine inside the 18, trying to get to that ball on a pretty clear whistle. Free kick for Michigan. They'll leave this one with Zillman.
Yeah, just had her eyes on the ball, but way too much contact.
Zillman short to the left side as the Wolverines just looking for some sort of passing lane to open up and show itself. Winder off the head, right onto the feet of Rachel Wrights. And back to Siphonia. Good run across midfield. Siphonia looking for that next pass. Nearly knocked away, keeps her footing, keeps the ball, and drops it back to Wilson. Diamond, great pass to enter the attacking third. Long range left-footed shot. Zillman lays out and punches that off to the far side. Rolling towards the corner flag. It'll be a deep throw for Utah State. Great timing there by Zillman to hold on that dive and wait for that ball to get in. Getting a little more comfortable in there.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few nice plays there by Zillman. True freshman, made her collegiate debut in that game against Utah Valley.
Fortunate bounce there. Samantha Sellers is almost able to scoot behind the defense. Cleared out as far as Wilson. Now Wrights back to Wilson. Winder calling for it. Not going to get it. Instead, chipped in towards Christian, who steps over the ball trying to settle that touch inside the 18. Goes out for a Zillman goal kick.
Yeah, it's always tough when you got someone in front of you and you can't tell if it's going to deflect off of their head or not. And that time, just a tough read for her.
Bouncing around on the right side now for Michigan. A couple heavy touches. Trying to force their way up that right side. Irvin bodied off the ball by Wilson. And Wilson sends it into the Michigan bench for a throw. Working it down that right side still. Michigan throwing that directly to Rachel Wrights. Some short passing. Lopez away from two defenders. Back to Siphonia. Great ball to open up Winder into a lot of space down the right wing. Pings one forward through the air. Hirai off the crossbar. Followed up Christian over the bar. Capril Winder could not have put that more on a dime. And Hirai just denied by the woodwork.
Inches away from 3-0 and even on the follow-up. Tough break for the Aggies.
56 minutes down going into the 57th. And for all but 5 minutes of this match, it has been all Utah State. Let's take another look at that attempt from Hirai. It was, a beautiful ball from Winder. Hirai's first touch, half bounce out of the air and off the upper right corner of the woodwork. Christian just leaning back on the follow-up attempt, got a little too excited with the open net in front of her. Stays 2-0 for now as Michigan tries to build something up the left side. Christian shoved down there on the near side of the field. They allow play to continue. Jewell into the middle. They find Irvin, low right-footed shot. Did not get underneath that one, and you could see the frustration from her as that was scooped up by Grassoff. And that is Allie Grassoff's first save of the match in the 57th minute.
Yeah, first shot attempt on the books for Michigan. They had an
Samantha
opportunity.
Sellers, great touch around one. Just a little too far out in front to get around the second. Awkward pass off to the right side for the Wolverines. That'll roll out for a Utah State throw as assistant coach Carrillo Batista just watches that one. Martins and Carrillo Batista have been on this staff together for 6 years. Coach Aaron always out there on the sideline by Coach Manny. Now Christian down the right wing. Stand-up tackle from Jewell. Christian stays with it and slides through to get that back to Winder. Winder into the middle for Wrights. Avoids some contact. Now Wilson. Long left foot. Looking for Diamond on a bounce. Zillman watches that roll through, and it goes out for a Utah State. No, it's going to be a Michigan goal kick, but Zillman looks to be very, very shaken up. Was grabbing at that right knee as she went down to ground. Maybe planted awkwardly at the end of the field. This might not be a very good situation for the Wolverines. Helped up. A little bit ginger on that right side, but looks like she's going to be okay. They'll stop the clock, though. So Zillman is going to move to take this goal kick, but definitely a little bit ginger putting weight on that right side. Maybe we've got some netting a little bit loose on the near side. Quick fix by our head official. It's been a great bit of game management from Cameron Seiler so far today. Getting good help from Karsten Gilwald and Taylor Mott, with Michael Anglin the alternate. Samantha Sellers chipping down that left side. Hirai not in the right spot, but it stays with the Aggies as Wrights gets it back to Espinosa. Now Hirai left side. Taken down from behind and fallen on by Michigan. Stoppage signal by our head official is going to bring out the first yellow card of the game. And Riley McKinney earned that one for sure.
Yeah, plenty of contact. Took her down hard.
First card of the game will go against the Wolverines. That is their second of the season as a team. Utah State seeing one against Austin Miller late in the game at Kansas on Wednesday. Take another look at this takedown there on Hirai. I mean, it's textbook definition of running through the back of a player.
Yeah,
hard
tug
tug
jersey
and
on
a
the
shove.
back.
2 for 1. This is a dangerous position potentially for Utah State. I think maybe a little too far outside of the shot range. I believe it's Wrights and Espinoza standing over it, but Utah State's got 4 bodies again on top of the 18 on this near side, just moving around, causing some confusion. Diamond the trail a little bit behind those 3 that are right on the chalk. Clock starts again, 59th minute. Espinoza runs over it. Wright steps up to it. Low cross, bounces into Zillman, who scoops it up off a bounce. Zillman directing traffic. It's going to be a punt. Over the head of its intended target, L. Irvin. Utah State again has possession in midfield. Long ball attempted for Christian, knocked back by Jewell. McKinney now. Wolverines forced to the back line again with Fife. Great press from Hirai. Needs some numbers to join her in the attacking third. Drops it off. Sellers right foot. Zillman to the ground to stop it.
Great job on the defensive end by Hirai to take that one back, applying plenty of pressure. Just a good reaction on the near post by Zillman.
Syphonia, awkward bounce off the hip, but it ends up, fortunately, with Winder. I'll roll it back to Grassoff, who sends it back up the field, a little over the top of Michigan's midfield, all the way back to Fife. Fife for Jewell. Bit of combination play to the near side for El Mokbel. Now Christian tangling up, forcing a player to ground. Michigan comes away with it with some help from behind from Kekic. Now Diamond back to Wrights off the turnover at midfield. Wrights, Syphonia. Right back to Wrights. Just under half an hour to play now, 61st minute of action. Still 2-0 Utah State. Diamond sends it off Jewell and out for a Utah State throw as the Aggies have all their game changers running around and getting their legs warm on the far side. Short throw, Christian. Wanted to open something up for Diamond. Back to Winder instead. Short cross. Doesn't make it all the way to Hirai. Knocked down a little wide of Diamond and out for a Michigan throw. We've got another substitution coming on for the Maize and Blue. Off the field now is Riley McKinney after receiving that yellow card. She'll be replaced by number 4, Lily Bosley. And the Aggies are going to want to make a trio of substitutions as well, as they are allowed entry to the field. Lopez going to head to the far side. and get a breather. So is Summer Diamond, and it looks like Rachel Wright's the third, replaced by Austin Miller, Kay Yoneda, and one of the Barrera twins, Hadley Barrera. Winder nods it down for Siphonia, runs away from the pressure. Great stand by Barrera to absorb the tackle and keep the ball. Now Winder, another good stop on a dime. All the way back for Wilson. Lofted over the top, just a little too tall for Hirai. Now Yoneda gets it back to Winder. A give and go for Yoneda. Oh, what a fake by Wilson. Huge shove behind the ball there for the Wolverines, that time against Samantha Sellers. The Sellers twins have been getting their money's worth today as well. The Sellers sisters, I should say, not twins. Two sets of twins and another set of sisters. It's easy to get them all mixed up.
Yeah, 10 fouls now on Michigan. And that's 4 here early in the second half.
Michigan has taken the advantage in the foul column as well, 10-8 after an aggressive start to the second half. Yoneda standing over it on the outside of the ball. Stepping up and over. Espinoza running down that left side, looking for the crossing window. It does present itself, gets it in towards the middle. Zillman flying through the air to punch that out, comes out to Winder. Yoneda fakes one way, chips down the right side, too heavy.
Another nice reaction there from Zillman. Going airborne to keep that one away from goal, and this time Michigan able to clear it out when there was congestion in the box.
Final score from down at Texas State, 4-1 over University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley. The Bobcats open up their Pac-12 run with a win of their own. Quick throw for Utah State at midfield. Yoneda. Quick switch near side. Winder under pressure from one. Gets the pass down the right side. Christian dribbles through two. Puts a semi-heavy left-footed shot in towards Zillman. May have been an attempted through ball for Hirai, but too quick for her. Hard hit ball down the right side. Wilson in position to get there first. Knocks it out for a Michigan throw. Utah State will be able to get their defense reset as we are under 25 minutes left in this one.
And it starts to become crunch time for Michigan. They've got to try to piece something together. Still just that one shot. And even that one shot was a little rushed.
Bouncing ball still loose on the outside of the 18, far side of the pitch. Now an Aggie down heavy as that sent out for a Michigan throw. Looks like maybe some cramping. Substitution in the background as Kate Christian will give way to Ellie Hendricks up front. Espinoza also going to come off for Talia Winder. You can see here right down there getting stretched out by Kay Yoneda. And we're going to go to a full timeout here. A hydration break of sorts in the 66th minute. Casey, it's been much of the same as we've been through the first half of this second half now. A little over 20 minutes down, a little more than 20 to go. It seems like the frustration for the Wolverines is starting to boil over a little bit.
Yeah, it really is. They had 6 fouls in that first half, and And now early, only 20 minutes into the second half, they've got 4 more added on. And already a yellow card as well. They've become much more aggressive as Utah State continues to put pressure on them, still up 2-0.
Hirai still down, getting that left leg stretched out by the training staff for Utah State. We've mentioned him several times. It's Manny Martins leading Utah State for the 6th consecutive season with still a couple years left on that extension that he inked last year. Coach Martins, a back-to-back conference champion with Utah State in their last 3 seasons in the Mountain West, leading them into the Pac-12 era with a head of steam and confidence, as he very well should have based on what we've seen through 65.5 minutes so far. And we mentioned this a couple times for Michigan as well, but a new head coach for the Maize and Blue this season coming by way of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Looking to bring a lot of experience in the NCAA tournament to Ann Arbor. Dave Diani.
19th among all active women's soccer coaches in wins, 346 of them, and nearly a .750 winning percentage.
Finally back in play now, off the throw. Utah State sending it back towards midfield, but headed down by the Wolverines temporarily. Sloppy in midfield for Utah State. There's those passes a little bit wide. They get a bad pass from the Wolverines as well, but it's deflected out off of an Aggie. Michigan's going to have their 3rd corner of the match, tied at 3 apiece now in the corner column.
Second one here about halfway through the second half. And this is where Michigan really needs to break through. They've got themselves another set piece and an opportunity to make something happen.
El Mokbel, left-footed in-swinger. Looks like the setup on the far side. Long to the near post and off of a Wolverine head, wide left. Irvin did get a piece of it, but not a clean piece.
And Irvin's got plenty of height when it comes to those headers, standing at 5'11". She's a presence in the box anytime there's one put in there.
Again, the Aggies looking to open up the left side through midfield. This time they do make it across the stripe. Pass deflected just beyond that point. And Irvin has a chance to turn here. Sent out in front of the Michigan bench. It'll be another Utah State throw. And the ball movement woes for Michigan. They ebb and flow, but they've been flowing more than ebbing, especially in the second half, as they've struggled to possess for more than 2 minutes at a time. Good cut, Jewell looking to get that ball out of danger. Taken down by Yoneda. Sellers in the middle. Makes the fake run, dropped all the way back to Barrera instead. And she'll go back line for Wilson. Wilson trying to get a bounce for Ellie Hendricks, dealt with by Jewell. Now Emmetsburger in transition. Burst of speed around the right side, long cross coming in, into the back of the net. My goodness. Awkward angle goal, but what a finish.
What a shot by Jablinski. I don't know how she even had an angle to get that one in there, but put it right in the top bins on the left side. Near impossible angle for Grassoff.
Yeah, just a little too tall for Allie Annette there. Misread it off the far post. Did not realize it was going to sneak in that top left corner. But the Wolverines have life here in Logan with just under 22 minutes to play. Take another look at this one from Jablinski. Was a cross all the way until it wasn't.
Just able to put that one right underneath the crossbar.
Maybe this will be the boost of momentum the Wolverines need. Another Sprint down the right wing for Jablinski. Makes a couple good moves, sends it into the scrum, ricochets off of an Aggie and out for a Michigan corner, and all of a sudden, Utah State is out of sorts defensively.
All it took was one opportunity for Michigan to completely flip the momentum. They were able to get an unlikely shot into the back of the net, and now they've got the Aggies kind of on their heels.
Now another sub for Michigan being waved on. So a bit of a surprising move now from the Michigan camp as they're going to bring Jablinski off the field.
Yeah, maybe had their minds set up before the goal happened.
Down the right side, another cross coming in from that far side of the pitch. Knotted across the 6 by Yoneda. Ricochets out of play for another Michigan corner, this time from the near side. 20 minutes, 20 seconds to go in this one. 2-1 as Michigan threatened to equalize.
Yeah, they've put themselves in the best position they can to tie this one up.
It doesn't always have to be pretty, Kaysen, but if it goes into the back of the net, it counts the same. And Michigan has found themselves, thanks to a couple of bounces and an errant cross, in position to make this one an interesting finish. Unfortunately, Coda Jones just missed on that one, wide open at the near post. Grassoff looked to have it covered, but it goes out for a goal kick. Utah State somewhat desperate to get out of that defensive third right now.
Yeah, major swing in momentum and a couple opportunities Michigan was able to put together. Now the Aggies are going to need to respond.
Ducking out of the way on the far side there was Winder, didn't get ahead to the goal kick, and Michigan takes possession back. Near side, Jewell to the far side for Jones. Heavy touch, gives it back to Sellers. And Sellers eases up to retain possession. Now trying to feed Winder into some space on that far side. It's sent off of a Wolverine for a throw. 72nd minute, just over 18 remaining here in Cache Valley. 2-1 Utah State as they hold on to that lead they've had since the 32nd minute. All the way through everyone. Syphonia gets tugged as she tries to get to that second ball, and the officials saw it 10 yards away. Not quite sneaky enough from Kekic there.
Yeah, and a good break for the Aggies that the official was able to see that one to give them a little bit more space to work with. Michigan has started playing much more tough.
Grassoff waves everyone up the pitch. Sends this one over the head of Austin Miller, straight up into the air off the head of Luciana Latino, and out for a Utah State throw. Now a pair of subs for the Aggies. Kay Yoneda and Talia Winder are going to head off. Rachel Wright's back onto the pitch. And it looks like we are going to see the home debut for Lila Emmitsberger here for Utah State. Wolverines under pressure now as Utah State turns it up in the attacking third, forcing a Michigan throw. Down the near side, Winder trying to shield that ball out of play. And she's going to get away with a brush of the ball there. Utah State gets a throw. Into the middle for Wrights, away from some pressure, and back to Wilson. A far side, Emmitsberger trying to connect with Sellers, knocked out for a Utah State throw. We've got 17 minutes remaining in this one.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, what seemed like a blowout in favor of Utah State has flipped on its head.
Michigan trying to break the press here for Utah State. They get some space at midfield. Long ball down the right side. Wilson stays in front, gets knocked down, and this will be another foul against the Wolverines.
Yeah, that makes 11 now.
And it's Kekic again back-to-back whistles for the Wolverines against number 9. Long right-footed. Wilson can't connect, but sent out for a deep Utah State throw as Sellers was pressing hard. 11-9 in the fouls column. You can see that there at the top of your screen.
Yeah, here in the second half, though, it's 5-2, with Michigan playing much more aggressive.
Short throw for the Aggies to the edge of the 18. Knocked away at first. Second ball cleared away to the scorer's table. Another Utah State throw as Michigan's got a pair of subs in the wings. And they'll be held there for now. 15.5 remaining in this one. Still 2-1 Utah State. Michigan with the lone goal of the second half. An absolute rocket of a cross-turned shot from Jablinski. Now another Utah State throw a little further down the touchline. Emmetsburger to take this one. Good run across the top of the zone. Samantha Sellers lost her footing trying to put it into the box, but it ends up with Hendricks. Hendricks out for Miller, who lets it roll for Winder. Now chipping over the top, looking to connect with Sellers on the far side. Punched away by Zillman for now. Hendricks towards the second ball. Heavy touch taken away by the Wolverines. Winder knocks it down inside the attacking half. Finds Wrights and gets it back. Now Siphonia centering for Wilson. Through the center circle and down the left side. Not on target with Barrera, all the way out for a goal kick. Zillman waving her team up the field now as Michigan's time runs low. They'll make a couple more substitutions, as will the Aggies. Mia Lopez going to come back on for Austin Miller. Summer Diamond replacing Hadley Barrera. Zillman, right foot through it. Sellers header towards her elder sister Samantha. They both press, can't get to that second ball in time. Lopez gets a toe to it, but it bounces away from her. Now Jewell down the left side. Winder jumps up into the air, puts a head on it, allows Siphonia to recover. Hendricks double teamed on the touchline. Gets it back to Winder. Winder just launches it forward over the head of Siphonia. Bouncing around in midair now, the Wolverines trying to transition into their attacking third. Can't do so. Siphonia double teamed off the ball. And now here's some space on the left wing for Marne. Raghunandan tried to cross that in. No one on the far side of the box. And now the Aggies will move up the left wing. Big burst of speed from Sellers. Samantha has Selena getting held back up the field. Hits her now. Selena takes a couple of hits, trying to get that back onto the foot of Samantha, and a little too heavy. Jewell shakes and bakes on Lopez, drops it back to the back line. Five back to Jewell. Good cut around Hendricks. Jewell through the middle. Laid off for Harshey. Long ball down the left wing. Too heavy for Marne. And it goes back to Grassoff. 12.5, 12:45 to go in this one. Aggies hanging on to that 2-goal lead. Mullenmeister and Lopez, the 2 goal scorers for the Aggies in that first half. Siphonia opens up some space just outside the defensive 18. Wanted one long for Hendricks. Takes an early bounce. Sent back the other way. Emmetsburger chasing it down for a Utah State throw.
The Aggies need to slow down and just string a couple passes together. They've been a little bit shaken since that unlikely goal.
Another header into the Michigan bench off of a Wolverine. Under 12 to play, Utah State moving up the ladder on the far touchline. Thrown over the midfield stripe. What a settling touch there for Sellers, and she is going to draw the foul on another tug. Michigan losing their subtlety in the jersey holds now, pulling back just about every mark they've had on defense for the last few minutes, and the officials starting to hone in on that.
Still over 10 minutes to go, and they've already matched their first half total in fouls, up to 12 on the night.
Wilson has the range to put this into a shooting position inside the 18. Got a little too far underneath it that time. Hendricks tried to meet it on top of the 18. Comes down for Lopez. Bounces into her elbow there, but no handball because it did come off a different part of her body. Raghunandan could not get that one free, and it's back to Grassoff untouched. Into the middle for Lopez. Sellers whiffed on it, but Hendricks comes away with it, cuts into the middle. 2-on-2 for Utah State. Filtered left, but a little too heavy for Sellers, who had to hold her run to stay onside. Zillman launches it out with the arm. 10.5 to go in this one. Too far in front of Marn. Couldn't get her head on it cleanly. Another Utah State throw just behind midfield, and both teams with a pair of substitutions waiting permission to enter.
Seems the Aggies are starting to settle back in after a few minutes where Michigan was really pushing the tempo.
Winder trying to get it in towards Lopez, and they are finally going to call Hershey for the wraparound hold on Lopez. Free kick for Utah State, about 15 yards up from midfield. Under 10 to play in this one, 2-1 Utah State, and after a bit of defensive confusion for about 8 minutes halfway through this half, they've recovered their dominance in possession. A little bit of insurance here would go a long way, Kaysen. Wilson, long right foot. This one's going to pull itself a little left of the formation. Bounces down, though, for Sellers. Her left-footed shot blocked by Hershey at the top of the 18. Aggies keep it inside the attacking half, but picked off the head. Lopez makes a great read. Wins it back at midfield. Drops it back to Wilson. Wilson cuts through the pressure. Squeezes out of the sandwich and hits Sellers. Sends it flying into the air, and Hendricks knocks it down. Hendricks off of a Wolverine for another Utah State throw. 9 to go in this one. Now 5 substitutions will hit the field for the Wolverines. 2 for Utah State. Looks like Kate Christian's going to come back on for Ellie Hendricks. And a debutante for Utah State as Valeria Alcala gets her debut. The 4'10" true freshman gets her first bit of action at home in front of the fans at the Bell.
Michigan, lots of substitutions. It's do or die time. They need to get every offensive weapon out there that they can.
You can see all those subs for Michigan coming across the top of your screen here. Jablinski in for Sims. Christian, great cross. Just too far out in front of Samantha Sellers on the far post. 8:45 remaining in this one. Pac-12 women's soccer off to a hot start across the league this week. Utah State looking for their first win to bounce back from that 2-0 loss against the number 15 team in the country. And that foul going to get called against Rachel Wright as she takes Irvin, to the ground. Jablinski and Irvin are going to be the two that Michigan will try and play through for these last 8 minutes. Just can't connect on their passes. Another throw for Utah State in front of the Michigan water tent on a unforced error.
Flashbacks to how the earlier parts of this game were going, where Michigan was making those unforced errors, and a lot of those just on passes to almost that exact same spot.
Sliced into the air as Utah State was threatening a counter. Bounces down, headed down to Irvin. Collision there between Irvin and Summer Diamond, and Irvin sells it. 7.5 to go. Near side, Jewel working it down the left side. Ella Mokbel gets away from some pressure, gets a throw. Jewel again. Back up the field for Fife. Right into the middle of that back line. Chipped over the top. Irvin got a foot to it. Comes outside the 18. Latino could not get a foot on it. And the Aggies run away from pressure. Diamond. Almost put that on a platter for Samantha Sellers, but they'll at least win a throw out of it as Coda Jones didn't have any other options.
That was a great job of countering to get themselves out of pressure. Michigan is starting to put themselves in position, and all they need is one to go their way.
It's going to be tough, though, as Utah State visibly starting to park the bus. 6.5 to go. Knocked out by the Wolverines. They wanted a foul. They're not going to get it. It'll be a Utah State throw. Emmitsburger to take it quickly. Down the left side, Sellers looking for a cross. Sends it off a Wolverine. Coda Jones comes away with it. Back to Wilson, up to Siphonia, and we reset. Grassoff now outside the 18. Back up to Wilson. Now Wilson hits one hard down the left wing. Far too far for Samantha Sellers, who is running a little bit gingerly. And she'll go down to 2 knees here on the far side of the field. Might be asking for a substitution as she looks to be favoring that right side right now. She'll get looked at on the far side, quickly replaced by Maya Mullenmeister.
And she has taken some hard contact in this game.
They're going to send Mullenmeister back to the scorer's table just to make sure that it's done correctly. So Samantha Sellers out for the rest of this one with just under 6 to play. Hope that she's okay. It looks like this will be played as a drop ball because of that injury, and Sellers going down to the ground voluntarily. Drop ball played. Alcala tries to put her body in the way. Ends up with Utah State at midfield anyway, but spins away from Summer Diamond off an awkward touch. Back to Wrights. Siphonia steps through 2 Wolverines, takes a shove in the back, keeps the ball for now, trying to get past a third and lost possession there. Wrights the interception on the back end, hits Siphonia. Mullenmeister trying to turn down the far touchline. That's going to be a Michigan throw. They judge that to be last touched by Maya. And a couple substitutions again for the Wolverines. A flurry of fresh legs. It looks like Jones and Irvin are going to head off. Marn back onto the field up front for Michigan. And Ella Sims rejoining the defense. A little too tall that time as Wrights tried to intercept off the throw. Cleared back up the field. Under 5 to play in this one. High bounce right in front of Diamond. Lets it bounce again, gets away from the pressure. Emmitsburger sends it off a Wolverine for a throw. 4.5 to go. Diamond off an awkward deflection. Taken away behind the play. Michigan now working through, and a foul called behind the ball there. Free kick for Michigan along that far touchline. Into the 87th minute as Zillman will come up to take this one. Michigan's going to have to send every blue shirt they have up the field. Wrights, first one to it, heads it down, goes off of a Wolverine. Ella Sims was not ready for it. It's an Aggie throw.
Michigan squandered a couple opportunities they've had here very late in the game. And the Aggies just need to stay precise with their passes. Just avoid any mistakes.
The official being very tight-leashed about Utah State's clock management endeavors here, stopping the clock for a throw-in. Doesn't that time, but Utah State going to have to be mindful not to intentionally waste time in the eyes of the official. Couple of bounces, Utah State gets the throw in front of their own medical tent. And again, he's going to stop the clock as Utah State changes throwers. 3 minutes, 6 seconds remaining in this one. Bad throw by Utah State, gives it right back to Michigan. Alcala sliding in there, creating some pressure, forcing a rough clearance for Michigan, now bouncing around at the top of the Aggie, attacking third. Emmitsberger knocks it down for Mullenmeister, who sends it off a Wolverine for another Aggie throw. 2:40 remaining in this one. And Mullenmeister's just going to take this one herself to avoid a clock stoppage. Drops it into the feet of Summer Diamond, works through a double team on that far touchline. Utah State just taking some seconds off. Now a long throw for the Wolverines deep in their defensive third, knocked out. And we'll do it again, 20 yards up the field. .210 remaining. Awkward throw for the Wolverines. Ejected to the left side of the field. Jewell takes it in. Long ball forward. Space opening up. Desperate shot right into the chest of Allie Grassoff.
Yeah, and that was a chance right there. They were able to get themselves in a good position, but with time running down, a little rushed on the shot again. And Grassoff didn't have to move very far.
Yeah, you wonder if Kekic takes one more touch off to the right, if she can open up that avenue. But the Wolverines feeling like they've got to take what they can get with just over a minute and a half left in this one. Jewell down the left wing. Cross to Emmitsberger. She clears it away. Bounces in front of Alcala. Over her head, Wrights comes down with it in midfield. And Winder launches it away. Takes an awkward spin towards Mullenmeister. Beautiful first touch by Maya Mullenmeister. And she sends it down the left wing. Alcala was in an offside position, so she remains put. And another substitution for Michigan, another substitution for Utah State if they can get it in time. Clock is stopped with 1:04 remaining in this match. It does not look like they're going to allow Barrera into this one. Utah State didn't have her at the table in time. Now Diamond sends it off a Wolverine. Utah State throw, and now they'll make the substitution with 50 seconds remaining.
And each one of these throws just run more time off the clock and dwindle down the hopes of Michigan.
So Alcala getting some good minutes up front there as Barrera comes in to replace her for the final 53 seconds. Gets a touch on it fresh off the bench. Now Wrights switching over to Winder. 45 seconds left in this one. Siphonia boots it up the right wing. The further up the field, the better. The philosophy for Utah State right now is that's deflected by Barrera and out for a goal kick. Zillman scrambling to find a ball. .25 seconds remaining in this one as Zillman puts her right foot behind the ball. Comes down between a Wolverine and a Rachel Wrights. Lopez chasing across the center circle. Comes down for Jewell. Campbell Jewell left side. Opportunity now. Countdown is on. 7 seconds left all the way up top. Long cross coming in towards the far post. Grassoff lets it go in. Grassoff missed it on the bounce, and the Wolverines equalize at the buzzer. They're going to have to review this for the time on the clock. As it stands, the final is 2-2, and Michigan wins it on a spill by Grassoff at the buzzer.
Wow.
Fife sent it in from 45 yards out. It bounced through to Grassoff, and she missed. They're going to go to the monitor. Hold on just a moment. The ball has to fully cross the goal line by the time the buzzer sounds. Let's take another look at this one. Let's see if we can figure out the timing of it. I don't think we'll be able to, but Fife just launching one in desperation towards the net, and Grassoff hesitated.
Yeah, just unsure if there was going to be a deflection, so she was out of position. Didn't expect it to go clean through.
There is no overtime in the regular season. This would end on a draw if this goal stands, and what a draw it would be for Michigan. But for Utah State, it would bring a lot of questions to the table for training between now and the Portland match on Thursday evening.
Yeah, it'd be a very unfortunate and a heartbreaking result for the Aggies. They dominated in almost every statistic, but the only one that really matters is what that scoreboard says at the end.
They're reviewing this one as both teams hang out just onto the field in front of the scorer's table. The buzzer sounded about in synchronicity with that goal going across the goal line. It's going to be hard to say, and it is a goal. Michigan equalizes in the last second of the game. Utah State throws away 3 points at the end of the match, falling asleep on defense for the final 5 seconds of this one. They're going to have to play one more second of this match. Utah State's going to have to put the ball in play, but 2-2 is going to be your final score, Case, and that's what a missed opportunity for Utah State. Yeah. Unbelievable miss for Utah State.
Just an unbelievable finish. The first goal was unlikely enough. The second one just dethroned it.
And for Utah State, shades of what you saw in Lawrence. Launched at the goal, and that's going to be wide left. Michigan steals a point from Utah State at the death. And Coach Martin's squad is going to have to ask themselves some difficult questions over the next few days. What went wrong here, Kaysen?
Yeah, seconds left, and it's just small mistakes. The first goal that comes from Michigan is just a wonderfully placed ball. It's tough to play on defense, but that second one, there's so many. Very late in the game, they weren't able to keep a hold of possession, keep it in the attacking half. And in result, Michigan was able to come away with one of the most unlikely goals I may have ever seen, just able to bounce in right before the buzzer.
Now, questions that we're going to have to ask as this season goes on as well is that's a tough spill for Grassoff to make their case, and for a senior to make that spill at the end of the game. Do you maybe look at Nystrom on Thursday?
You know, with the mistake made towards the end right there, and Coach Martins was already saying that Nystrom has been pushing. She's been making it tough there for Grassoff. You might have to look. That's just very costly at the end of the game.
Grassoff, with 8 shots on goal she's faced this season, has allowed 4 goals. A .500 save percentage, not going to get it done at this level in this league. We'll see what happens on Thursday. Utah State returns home at 7:30 p.m. right here on the Pac-12 YouTube channel. Free viewing for women's soccer all season long thanks to the Pac-12. But Utah State, this one's going to sting tonight, Kaysen, and it should. This one should sting a little bit when they go to bed tonight. They're going to have a long talk after this match, and they're going to have some adjustments to make on Thursday evening. Any final thoughts you got for us tonight?
Yeah, the Aggies started off a little rough, but they were able to dominate for most of the game. 16-5, outshooting Michigan 9-4 with shots on goal. But there were a few opportunities that the Aggies left that they just couldn't finish off. And then at the end, they just couldn't keep the pressure on. Michigan was showing late life, and a few unforced errors again by the Aggies allowed Michigan to fight their way back into it and get 2 unlikely goals towards the end that really just pushed it to a draw. And seconds left, they leave a couple points there on the table, and the Aggies are going to have to wait a while longer to get their first win against a Big Ten team.
It was right there on the table for them, and it slipped through their hands in the 89th minute with 59 seconds on the clock. This one finishes 2-2. Utah State still unbeaten at home for almost 3 years, but a couple painful draws to a couple Big Ten programs over the last few seasons. That's going to do it for us here from Cache Valley, Utah. The Pac-12 era is in full swing for Utah State, and though this one may have your heart in your throat, thanks to that equalizing Michigan goal right at the end. Utah State off to a fighting start against two quality Power 4 programs. We'll be back, like we said, 7:30 p.m. kickoff on Thursday evening against the Portland Pilots out of Oregon. But for Kason Miller, our entire crew here at Utah State, this has been a Utah State video production for Pac-12 Women's Soccer. We'll see you Thursday evening. Until then, I'm Stockton Juke saying good night, Cache Valley. Good night, Pac-12 Nation. Boy, is it good to be here.